This next group of books are some of my absolute favorites, uh, but it they're by the Francis Bacon Research Trust, and very Rosicrucian because Sir Francis Bacon was the one was one of the big imperators of the Rosicrucian order in his lifetime. And one of the things that they talk about is they're talking about his lifetime, but also they're talking about uh, the a lot of the mysteries that were involved in the early Rosicrucian stuff. And what I find fascinating is this series of books I've got 4 books is all. But this series of books talks about cycles of initiation. And they talk about nature cycles. And I spend a lot of time on my posts talking about what's going on at the winter solstice or the spring equinox or the summer solstice. I get all that stuff from these books. As we see, this book here, The Evolution of Human Consciousness, the Eleusinian and Dionysian Mysteries, The Great Instauration of Light, The Winter's Tale, Symbols of the Ladder of Initiation. So this one kind of starts out with some basics. Says the stages of initiations through the. Oh, let me kind of get this right. Through the wheel of the year. This is kind of just kind of showing you somewhat. This was so the first one. Maybe they were getting their act together. The Great Instauration of Light was Sir Francis Bacon's plan for to renew the world. Now, one of the things they talk about that's also fascinating, and this is issue 1, series 1, volume 1. I'm missing series 1, volume 2, which is about the Virgin Queen. Queen Elizabeth, also called the Virgin Queen, is, according to these books, Sir Francis Bacon is the son, the secret son of Queen Elizabeth, and that she actually had 2 children that she kept from the public. And she trained them both in had them trained in all the mysteries. Okay, this Dedication to the Light series, volume 3, again, volume 2, which has the Virgin Queen stories I'm missing. So we go to this. The Bardic Mysteries, The Love Affair of Elizabeth I and Leicester, The Birth and Adoption of Francis Bacon, Gorhambury Platonic Academy. Get a lot of history. Oh, there's teachings along with history. And Gorhambury Platonic Academy, what they're talking about here, is actually where Queen Elizabeth set up like a super training school for both Sir Francis Bacon and for this other person. I forget his name right now, but who is would be his secret brother. So I'm just kind of scanning this so that if you were interested, you can kind of read about it a little bit. And it was by order of the Queen, the all of the knowledge of the sacred mysteries and sciences and everything was taught to Sir Francis Bacon. And he also, or the Sir Francis Bacon Research Institute, also claims that they I'm losing my thought here because I'm busy scanning. Let's put it up. Should find some of this. Oh, Shakespeare. Sir Francis Bacon did write Shakespeare's plays, and they provide a lot of evidence for that. Well, I'm going to skip. I gave you a little taste of that. Here we have some other stuff. I'm just kind of scanning a little, just kind of taking pictures of a few things that you might find interesting or see why I find them fascinating. Okay, we'll go to the next one here. Francis Bacon Research Trust, Series 1, Volume 4, The Great Vision. Judaic Christian Mysteries, the Vision and Birth of the New Rosicrucianism, the Life and Times of Francis Bacon, 1572 to 1579. Again, part history, detailing events, significant events in the life of Sir Francis Bacon, and teachings, the teachings of various schools. And what's interesting, I find very interesting, is even though this really is at the core of Rosicrucianism, the monographs of the studies, the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, they have none of this stuff they have none of this stuff. And I can't help but wonder, well, why do they not? What do we got here? This is This is about Israel and the kind of some of the mysteries, the Judaic Christian, Old and New covenants. There's just a paragraph, the Last Supper. So anyway, they really get into the wheel of the year. Oh, here's something good again. And basically what they're saying is every one of these mystery schools, they kind of follow the same patterns of initiation. Now, this last one is probably my favorite of them all, and they keep getting thicker as it goes. This is the Ancient Egyptian Mysteries, Arcadia and the Arcadian Academy, the Life and Times of Francis Bacon, 1579 to 1585. And this was actually the last book that they published. So again, things totally biographical about Sir Francis Bacon. Maybe a little bit about Shakespeare as well. And again, like I said, what's fascinating, none of this is in the Rosicrucians, even though Sir Francis Bacon was the head, the imperator of the Rosicrucian order. I'm going to try to, here's kind of something about the Egyptian thing. I'm going to try to find where there's some cycles. Okay, right here. I talk some about the festival, the Christ festival, or this festival, or that festival. This is one of the places that I get because they're talking about the wheel of the year. This is where I get it from. And in all the books I have, I've never found this information anyplace else. That's why it's so powerful to me. Again, a little bit shows the wheel of the year. And down here it says the series of journals includes studies of the festivals or initiatory focal points that each journal commemorates, the various principal wisdom traditions, the life and times of the great initiate who is known as Francis Bacon. And this shows what each of these journals was actually trying to teach. So as I said, definitely pure gold this book especially, I had this one way before I found the other ones. I had to look online to find the other ones. And this is actually a replacement copy because the copy I had at one point I gave away all of my books and I had to repurchase. So I got this back. Uh, there's Mr. John D. Anyway, that's all for this one. But like I said, it's interesting. You can't find that information anyplace else that I know of.